Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Cornell Hunter, sitting along with the czar of the playbook, Emory Hunt. We're going to take a look at the 2009 Cincinnati Bengals. And we all know they had an active offseason in Cincinnati. What do you see going on in Cincinnati this season?
First, let me start off with the coaching that they have. Mike Zimmer, defensive coordinator, had that defense ranked 12th last year with a lot of injuries, and now you add a lot of different pieces to that puzzle. So the Bengals defense will look to improve under Marvin Lewis. And with the quarterback situation, you have Carson Palmer healthy. That's all that needs to be said. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in this league. Big arm, he's accurate with the deep ball. I love his leadership. He's tough, he's mobile in the pocket, and he's a real leader of that team.
Yeah, and that's a key loss. Many people look at the season they had last year, but when you lose a guy like Carson Palmer, that's equivalent to the coach losing a Peyton Manning. So
right, and with Carson Palmer back into the fold, he now has Chad Ochocinco rededicated himself to being a part of the team. They bring in Lavernius Coles. That gives them 2 number 1 options, and Lavernius Coles is a guy that always plays with the chip on his shoulder. He's reliable. He goes across the middle. I love his game. So now you have 2 number 1 receivers. You toss in Chris Henry. If he can keep his nose clean, keep out of trouble, he's a real good target. He could be a number 2 on a lot of teams in this league. So he's going to be number 3. They drafted a guy, Chase Kaufman, out of Missouri, to play tight end. Ben Utecht is a starter, which is more receiving threat. You have Reggie Kelly, is more of a blocking tight end. But with those 3 guys, I think you're going to see a lot more double tight end sets to help out Carson Palmer, to help out that running game, to help out those receivers on the outside.
Well, it does sound like Carson has a lot of new weapons coming into this season. What about that Cincinnati ground game? Have they finally gotten that together in Cincinnati?
Well, you bring in Cedric Benson, who last year, late in the season, kind of rejuvenated his career, has some big games, and this year he comes in as the unquestioned starter, and maybe all he needed was a change of scenery, kind of rededicated himself to the game of football. So hopefully he can just come in, play right away, and be spectacular full season, because there really it's all dependent on what he does, because there's really nobody backing him up. I mean, they did draft the guy Bernard Scott out of Abilene Christian Division II school. He won the Harlan Hill Trophy, which is the equivalent to the Heisman Trophy in Division II. Real good guy, 5'11", 200 pounds, speed to burn. And
talk about that first-round tackle they took out of Alabama. How is that going to improve that offensive line?
Big Andre Smith is a mammoth left tackle. He's going to protect Carson Palmer's blind side. They have a couple of guards, Nate Livings and Andrew Whitworth from LSU, that's going to be the guard position. But the other side of the line, they bring in. Check my notes right here. They bring in a guy, Anthony Collins. He's like the big dancing bear. He's real nimble. He has good feet. He was able to neutralize a lot of those pass rushers last year, like in Pittsburgh, Harrisons and everything. So they're fine. They have to find the right guard. They have to get more consistent play from the center. But overall, that offensive line has to improve, and they did by adding those 2 pieces.
And the side of the ball that I can't wait to see in Cincinnati is the defensive side of the ball. I mean, this may be a completely new face makeover in Cincinnati. Tell me about that Cincinnati Bengals defense for the 2009 season.
Well, if you're Marvin Lewis, you're a defensive guy. You got to be excited about what's going to happen this year on the defensive side of the football. They bring in Tank Johnson from the Cowboys. He's going to revamp the interior line to go along with Pecco. They go along with Jason Shirley, Pat Sims. A lot of those guys, they're going to be a rotation. And so the problem with the defensive line last year, they only generated 11 sacks. They need more play from the defensive ends, but they sort of fixed that when they drafted Michael Johnson out of Georgia Tech. He's going to come off the end to bring that pass rush. He's a big, long guy. He's 6'7". So he's going to do he's going to work wonders on coming off that end. Now on the other side, they would need like somebody, like your Antoine Odoms, your Frosty Ruckers, those guys, your Robert Gathers from Georgia, to step up and make plays. They paid them those big contracts, so they have to produce. So, but Michael Johnson should help those guys out.
And I know one thing is for certain: the fans in Cincinnati can't wait to see the hair in the middle. Tell me about that guy they found in the 2nd round from USC, who I thought should have been taken in the 1st round.
Well, if you look close, you probably think you're looking at a USC linebacking core, because they have Keith Rivers coming on the weak side. You have Ray Maluka in the middle, but also in the middle you have DeHoney Jones, who stepped up and kind of found himself last year, made a lot of tackles, a key contributor to that defense. And on the strong side, you know, Brandon Johnson is a backup to Rashad Jeanty, who's a starter. So they have some good linebackers there in Cincinnati. They also have a lot of depth. Blastock from Virginia on the outside. They also have Brandon Johnson backing up Rivers. You have Abdul Hodge from Iowa that's there as well too. So the linebackers are going to be great. And you know, if the front seven is great, the back four should be awesome. They have Leon Hall, former first-round pick. They drafted Jonathan Joseph out of South Carolina. He's a fast, active guy. I like those active quarterbacks that's in there in the face. Safety-wise, they bring in Roy Williams.
Yes.
They're going to let him play more of his natural position of strong safety in the box. So he could bring the pain. He could
very aggressive tackler.
Very aggressive tackler. And so if they limit his pass coverage responsibilities, he's going to be fine. You might see him back in a Pro Bowl this year.
Yes. Okay, well, what about the special teams in Cincinnati? I haven't heard much about their special teams, kickers, returners. What do the Cincinnati Bengals fans have to look forward to as far as the special teams this upcoming season?
Well, I think Antonio Chapman is the only threat they have back there, and Andre Caldwell. Those two guys, they don't really get too much out their return teams. But kickoff, Shane Graham was 21 for 24 last year, so they have a good kicking game. So, and they're starting a rookie at punter, so their special teams is a question mark to me.
And once again, we all know this is a tough division, defensive-minded division. How do you see the Cincinnati Bengals finishing out this season in that division?
Pittsburgh is the head of the class, so they're not going to get number one. Their fight is between Baltimore and themselves. So if the Bengals can stay upright, stay focused, I think the Bengals can challenge for that second spot. But right now, I think they'll finish just below Baltimore and finish number 3 in the division, but still have a winning record.
And there you have it. Emery says that the return of Carson Palmer will have this team competitive. I'm Cornell Hunter, sitting along with the Czar of the Playbook. This has been your 2009 Cincinnati Bengals team preview. Be sure to visit footballgameplan.com/NFL, where you can view more analysis of your favorite team.